A Portapique man who found himself caught in the chaos of the shootings there now wants the RCMP to explain its actions. Leon Joudrey says he knew 10 of the people who were killed on April 18th. He'd spent time with Greg and Jamie Blair, who later on that day were both victims. Joudrey says he woke up at 3:30 the next morning, saw text messages from friends about house fires in Portapique. He says he then got in his vehicle to check on the neighborhood and was driving when police told him over a loudspeaker to return to the entrance of the community. Instead, he went back to his home to his dogs. He told the CBC's Kayla Hounsell what happened next.
So I turned into my road because I left my lights on and my 2 dogs were home, and I wasn't going to drive to the entrance because I knew if I did, that if there's police there, there's not a chance in hope in hell I'd ever get back into my house. And I don't think these guys had any idea where Gabriel was at 4 a.m. And I wasn't going to leave my house lit up with the lights on and my dogs in it. No, but I checked on my neighbors first. I thought, yeah, everybody slept through the same thing. I was the most confused person in the world for 2.5 to 3 hours of my life. So then I tried to call Greg at around 5, no answer. So then about 6, it was coming on pretty good daylight. I heard a bang at the door, and it was Gabriel Wortman's girlfriend. I go open the door, drag her in, shut the door behind her.
What was she saying at that time?
She said Gabriel lost his mind. And I said, yeah, he burned his own house. I see that. And she's just not making any sense. So she couldn't even dial the phone, so I called 911.
What do you mean she couldn't dial the phone?
She was just shaking. Her hands were shaking. She couldn't hold the telephone. She just dropped it, so I picked it up and made the call.
Was she able to tell you anything at all about what had happened to her?
She didn't tell me anything like that. No, she was just shaking and said he lost his mind. And no, she didn't tell me anything other than that. That's all she said. Then I was on the phone with 911 till they came. So I was talking to the 911 operator.
And you were quite concerned in telling them that you wanted her out of your house. What was your concern there?
I don't know why she went to my house in the first place. I'm not the first house she would have came to. And I don't understand why she came there to begin with at that time of day. So, yeah, Gabriel and I didn't see eye to eye. We didn't get along.
Why was that?
A couple different reasons. Like, I went to do some work for him, and he was just a very arrogant person, and we didn't hit it off at all. So.
Did you ever see, witness, hear any kind of abuse perpetrated by him?
Just verbal abuse towards her one night on the 4-wheeler, and then the only other second encounter I had with her, she apologized for his behavior. That's the only 2 encounters I had.
And what was that behavior that she was apologizing for?
For him verbally abusing her, swearing at her, cursing at her. So I want nothing to do with the pair of them.
What would you have liked to have happened differently in that moment when 911 comes to your home?
Fill me in or take me with me in a crisis situation, but the 2 guys that I encountered at 4 a.m. were the ones that I'm blaming. What were they thinking by turning me around? Didn't they wonder who I was and where I came from? And when I didn't return to the checkpoint, wouldn't they wonder where I went?
Do you think maybe that they thought they were telling you to leave? I'm just a little bit confused.
I don't know what they thought. They told me to leave the scene and go back to the entrance, but they didn't check and see who I was. They couldn't look in that truck at that time of night and tell exactly who I was. They didn't check anything.
And when you then encountered the first responders who respond to your 911 call, you think they should have taken you when they took her?
I would have thought, or filled me in or told me then to leave. Yeah.
And no one repeated that call to leave at that time?
No. If they did, I didn't hear it. They just left. I was just standing there by myself.
And they didn't check your house or your garage?
They didn't go in my house. They asked me who was in my house and that, so they didn't do their job. They did a terrible job.
There was a lot of chaos that night.
No excuse. When you put an assault rifle in somebody's hand, they should know what they're doing. I don't blame the average cop, like I said before, for stopping me for speed, and they take 6 months training, but these guys are supposed to be the specialists with rifles, and they had no idea, in my view. But I only know what happened to me.
That's Leon Joudrey. He lives in Portapique. He was there April 18th and 19th when a gunman went on a shooting rampage in the area. You heard him speaking there with the CBC's Kayla Hounsell.
Our convenience.